I'm Dani Walker, and this episode is about the best unplaced evening gown performances at Miss Universe 2022. If you enjoy content like this, please consider subscribing and hitting that notifications bell. And if you like to support the channel in other way, you can do so by hitting that super thanks button. That's extremely helpful. Shopping in the merch store or sharing this episode with a friend. And if you're competing, please check out the free pageant prep course that's linked in the description. Now, I want to start by saying that I also created an episode about the best unplaced swimsuit performances. So if you want to check that one out, I will link it in the corner. But aside from that, let's get right into this episode, and in no particular order, here's who we'll start with. Cambodia, this is one of the best gowns that I've seen Cambodia wear in recent years, but I love this gown. I love that there is meaning that's tied into Cambodia about it. I also really love that the top half of it is a suit. Like, I'm all for something unique. I'm all for it. But the performance is what matters, and for me, the performance was there. I loved it. I do think that her national winning performance was a bit stronger, but also she had more time on stage for that performance. So I just feel like in competitions like this, you really got to make the most of every single second. Italy. Ooh, okay. Italy was in so many people's predictions. So many people thought that she could just win it. And from the beginning, I always felt, and I've talked about this, that her walk could be stronger for Miss Universe. And I was just hoping, she was putting that work in on the walk. Now, I think that her gown performance was stronger than her swimsuit performance, but really you need both. It's Miss Universe. But she did great here. Now, for me, I was surprised by the gown, especially considering it's by Roberto Cavalli. Roberto has really done some crazy, insane gowns. And I really wanted to see something a little bit more unique. I thought that the gown choice was very safe, but that she stunned in it though, right? Like, she really stunned in it. She was gorgeous, and I was hoping to see her in finals. I just wanted to hear more from her, but it's tough. Angola was stunning. I do wish that she would have done a bun hairstyle instead of a pony. I don't know, I just felt like it would have complemented the gown a little bit more. I also wish that her sleeves were longer, because suddenly I felt like that was creating this harsh line in the middle of her, and really it should have just extended down into the floor and really blended into the gown. But that aside, the performance is what matters, and I feel like the performance was there, and I loved her. Nicaragua, great job. She's so fresh. This gown was very unique too. It was like a soft orange. It almost reminds me of a peach color. That's what my guess is, but it was perfect on her. I do wish the earrings were smaller though. I do really like the hair. I thought that she had a great performance. Argentina wore this stunning feather bottom gown, and I've talked about her in other episodes. She is just so beautiful, and she looked incredible. When she stepped out in this gown on stage, my jaw just dropped. She looked so amazing, and I was sitting right there front and center, and I will tell you, these gowns are so much more impressive under the lights than they will ever be on video footage. Bahrain, this was an outstanding performance that I loved, that I talked about in other episodes, and I know that after this, people felt like she created a moment, and a lot of people after this had her on their semifinal list, myself included. I wanted to see this brought back to the final stage. I thought this was exciting, this was fun, but I don't know what happened. Interview. Paraguay, I really have to say that the way that she carried herself for evening gown was with such elegance, and this very much impressed me. I had seen videos of her walking. She competed at Grand International in the past, but I really feel like her evening gown performance improved, and I really liked it. She was beautiful. Belize, love this queen, amazing gown. I will say though, she has a small frame. So sometimes when you have a small frame, and I can relate to this, I've always been very petite. It's like if you put things that are a little bit bigger or oversized, they kind of eat you. That's the best way I could describe it. And I felt like that piece around her arms the sleeve was a little bit wide for her frame, and I actually wish what they would have done is just thin it out towards the center, and I think that would have been perfect. But she was great, beautiful performance, and it's just Miss Universe is so competitive. Also, I was thinking, what if the ladies that I mentioned in this episode were the only contestants? Let's just put our top 16 to the side for a minute. Who do you think would win out of this episode for an evening gown competition? I'm really curious to hear what your thoughts are. Leave them in the comments. Brazil's gown was insane. Insane. I saw her step out in this and I was like, oh, so Brazil came to win. That's what she came here for. When I saw this gown, it was amazing. Loved this performance. She really impressed me with this. Germany. I talked about her in my prelims recap. Now, this gown to me was not very Miss Universe. It looks a lot more like Miss World or Miss International. Regardless of that, okay, that set aside, the performance was amazing. I thought she was elegant. I thought she had poise, but really it's like that's what it kind of comes down to as well. It's a part of it. I really shouldn't say set aside, because making sure that you look like a title holder for that specific organization is also part of strategy. It's also part of competition. So it's something to always think about. Mauritius, sentimental fave here, absolutely love her. And I talked about this in my swim recap episode, was just I think that the concealer was a bit light under the eye. I think that that needed to be blended in with a matte bronzer or a matte powder, but she's just so beautiful, really, really beautiful. The gown, I will say though, there was something where I just felt like I wanted it to be bigger. Like I think that the color was really beautiful on her and she looks stunning, but I kind of wanted something extra. Like I wanted a piece of fabric draped from it. I wanted like cascading waterfall beading. I wanted something a little more. Thailand, I'm at a loss for words. Incredible performance. And can we just talk for a second about the meaning behind this gown? Her parents were garbage collectors in Thailand, and she shared about how she grew up in a landfill or by a landfill, or there was something like that about her story, and how she would collect recyclables and turn them in, and that's how she was paying for her education. She just has this incredible story of being such an overcomer, and I love that the gown that she chose to wear was made out of pop tops from soda cans, and then they placed little rhinestones on them. I never would have guessed that. The gown looked incredible on stage. I love the creativity behind it. I love the meaning behind it. And really for me, the performance was there. How did she not place? France? Wow. Wow. This draped pearl gown, the hair up with it was perfect. Absolutely perfect. I loved it. And the performance, great. I loved her. When I saw this, I was like, oh, top 16. She had a solid swimsuit performance. I was really thinking, I was like, okay, France, one of the spots. Great Britain, I loved this pink on her. Remember, Pantone color of the year, Viva Magenta. I wouldn't say that this is Viva Magenta really. This is much more of this like hot pink, bright pink color, but regardless, loved it. Loved the over the shoulder look. Loved the styling of this. I was rooting for her. Mexico was so beautiful. I love the flow of the fabric behind her. She was in white, she was bright, she looked amazing. It's perfect with her black hair, and her facials were all there. What happened? I need to submit a formal complaint over here. I need to write a letter. I need to find out what happened to Miss Mexico, because I love her. Jamaica, my stomach just dropped even just thinking about her in this performance. I love her so much. I thought that she was so fantastic. I thought she was in that semifinal. I don't understand what happened. She looked incredible. I wonder if there was another gown. I absolutely love her. And I do kind of think though that she could have competed with her hair all down in this gown, like down and pulled back. Like the pony is beautiful because of her face, but I kind of feel like it would have been fine to keep it down, waved, simple. Malta had a fun gown reveal that I loved. This dress was fantastic on her, and I really liked this shade of yellow in contrast with the color of her hair. It looked so beautiful. Also, great job to whoever did her hair and makeup. It looked beautiful. It looked clean. It was great. All of it was great. Great performance, great presentation, fun to watch. Vietnam, I kind of feel like, yes, the gown was a risk. Yes, it was a gown that I loved, but maybe the judges were not feeling it. Maybe they didn't get it. Personally, I don't mind gowns that are really unique. I love them actually. I love them if they're done in a great way where you can see quality of construction. The gown suits the contestant. It just works for her. I loved it. And I also want to mention this hand gesture that she made, which people commented on, and it signifies a lotus. So that was something interesting. I also just liked it. It was like this little piece of flair. I was like, oh, I love it. And I felt like it could have been so iconic for finals because she was doing the same walk during rehearsals. Like, I'm sad. I'm really, really sad about Vietnam. Been rooting for them for years. I'm waiting to see Miss Universe Vietnam take home the crown. Netherlands is just giving body yaddy yaddy in this gown, and I loved the gown. I thought it was very unique, and I feel like especially nowadays, you gotta be unique at Miss Universe. You gotta make a statement, and we saw that with a lot of the queens that went on to semifinals. Like, think about the ones that were placing. Think about their preliminary gowns. Hello, think about Arbany with her bright pink wrapped thing around her, like that reveal. Like, you need those moments at Miss Universe. Philippines, I have a theory, friends. I have a theory. So it's been driving me nuts that she didn't place. I love her. I think she's qualified. I think that she would have done a great job during finals, but I was like, what is it? And I had talked to my mom a little bit about this, and I said, there's something that was off for me. And it's taken me some time, but then I realized when she was competing for Miss Universe Philippines, from the very beginning, the images that they released of her hair was up or back. I can remember the first image of her, this headshot announcing her competing, and her hair was kind of like up, messy bun, kind of pieced out, swept to the side a little bit. When she won Miss Universe Philippines, hair up. And then when we watched her during rehearsals, when she was there for her departure, her arrivals, hair slicked back. It was her look. Think about this. She wore her hair down and curled. What iconic looks has she brought us where you have seen her hair down and curled like that? I can't think of them. I cannot think of times where we really seen that. And when I thought about it, I was like, oh my gosh, that's what she needed. She needed the hair up. And maybe it's one of those things too, where it's like when you style your hair a certain way, you feel a different way about yourself, and that changes how you perform. And that's what I felt. I feel like if the hair was up, she would have been putting on a pageant uniform, and she's like, this is me, this is where I do my best. And that's what I wanted to see. Now, she had other gown choices, and I'm going to talk about that in another episode. Granted, I understand that there was meaning behind this gown. I do think that this gown, this specific color, was washing her out a bit. The color of her national winning gown was slightly different also. It was just mainly beaded and rhinestones, and I loved that gown, and I feel like it did a lot for her figure. This gown, however, I feel like it didn't fit. It almost feels like maybe she lost weight while she was at the competition, and the gown looked a little bit big on her. But that's a whole thing. But I just really feel like, I'm like, oh my gosh, if the fit of the gown had been a little bit different, if her hair had been up, I just feel like she would have carried herself differently for this performance. Panama was so beautiful. I just felt like the performance was safe. We didn't have like a moment, like a ooh moment, and we needed that. But it makes me sad because the quality of her walk is there. It's like she has that, but it wasn't choreographed in to the performance. Also, I think that the gown was really safe for her. Beautiful gown, incredible gown, would be great for so many other pageants and organizations, but it didn't have that little extra that was like, ooh, that's a little different, that's a little unique. Ukraine, I loved. Now, obviously, this is a very difficult time for the country of Ukraine. And I really think that whoever created this gown did such a great job of incorporating her flag. I thought it was beautiful. This kind of incorporation of the flag into a gown is similar to something that we saw at Miss Grand International when Miss Thailand wore a gown that was blue, white, and red, which is also the colors of the Thai flag. And I really love that. I love that look, but I just felt like, especially during this time, it was an extra special touch to wear a gown in the colors of her flag. And it was so beautifully done. And beyond that though, great performance. Great performance. She did phenomenal here. Phenomenal. And I talked about her in other episodes and I was like, I think that she's gonna do a great job. And she did. There you have it, friends. Those are my favorite unplaced performances from Miss Universe 2022. I hope that you really enjoyed this episode and had some fun with it. Maybe you're inspired for your next competition as well. Thank you though for tuning into this episode. I really hope that you're going to join me for lots more in the future. Don't forget to check out my other Miss Universe episodes. I created a lot prior to the pageant, and also there's episodes that I've released after the pageant, as well as my Miss Universe vlog. Check that one out. I hope that you'll enjoy that too. So thanks for tuning in for this episode, and I hope to see you very soon.